Well, that's why you need multiple women, dude, because at any moment you need to be able to ditch one and go with the other.
You were sleeping with different women, and you had your options because you have clout.
I just don't agree with that. I think it's a ridiculous take, honestly. I'm trying to word this in a way that doesn't come off not the way I'm trying to say it. Do you have a boyfriend?
No, babe, don't worry, it's just you.
You ain't touching none of this.
Man, we could have been friends.
I'm not the first person to do it, not gonna be the last person to do it. He's a big, massive man.
You're blind, bro. You're gonna get train wrecked.
No, I've had some awkward ones.
That's made me laugh, actually.
When we have kids, I want to stop working immediately and
Simp, beta.
Oh no, I'm a bitch for sure.
Maxx Chewning.
Oh shit, my hand, bro.
Oh, show your hand to the camera. We did an obstacle course, and he got his hand ripped up. You still got to do this. We got it on the first try, at least.
That was nice. I feel
Welcome.
like you want that pop. Let's do it one more time.
All right.
That was better.
That was a better pop. That's always a good.
What's up, dude?
What's up, man? Nothing worse than an awkward handshake.
No, I've had some awkward ones. The worst is when you go in, then you try to change it up and you fix it and you get awkward. It's usually white people shit, dude.
The worst is when you get your hand squeezed like this. If you go to handshake here, some people don't go all the way. Yeah. Then I feel like a.
You know, when I met
like a
Jay
bitch
Cutler,
after.
the bodybuilder, dude, you think he's like this big massive man.
He is.
He has like the most gentle handshake in the world.
Did you give him the squeeze?
Yeah, but you go in thinking you gotta like. I feel like men, you always have to have like a firm handshake. It's what we were like taught. And then if you meet someone who has like the different way to do a handshake, you're like, oh, it throws you off.
I feel like handshakes have like broken. Like there's one guy at the gym here, and I always get an awkward handshake with him, and I'm like, man, we could have been friends. But the first 4 handshakes we did were awkward. That friendship's gone.
Quick deviation before we even start the podcast. Yeah. What's your thoughts on handshake deals in business between men?
So if something's not a signed contract,
like would you honor if like later on the road you shook hands with me on a deal, but then later like you do want to get out of it, you're like, we just show it and it's not a contract, or do you stand by?
I mean, it would depend. It would depend if it's like we're going to see the Barbie movie tonight, and I wasn't feeling that. If it was something with like business and money was involved,
yeah, like a serious deal. You're like, I'm in on it, and you shake someone's hand.
I would honor it. Honor it. You?
Yeah.
Because if I didn't, or if you didn't, and we did it, I would just never trust you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I'm a man of my word, dude. Handshake deals are like signing a contract for me.
Well, here, the handshake deal to start this podcast. It's gonna be a dope podcast.
It's gonna be a dope podcast.
So speaking of the Barbie movie, that is the I think it killed the box office. I think between Barbie and Oppenheimer, I saw it was like the 4th largest grossing Hollywood weekend ever.
Well, that's rare.
Combining those two.
It's rare that 2 blockbusters will come out on the same weekend, because usually one always has like the IMAX theaters and stuff until the next one. But
so Barbie.
Okay.
I haven't seen it.
I've not seen it yet. I'm going to see it when I get back.
I don't want to trash it too much, but I've heard that it's like very... Because you think of Barbie, you think, oh, it's like Barbie and Ken. It's like a traditional couple, but apparently Barbie, the idea of the movie, it's like Barbie waking up from the Barbie world and being like woke to like what the world actually is. And I think it's a bit of like, again, from the reviews I've read, it's like a bit of like men hating, like yes queen, go girl, promoting things like promiscuity and things like that.
Yeah, but it's a movie for women. Like I would say for the majority, Barbie's, historically for girls, little girls and stuff. And, times have changed and boys can play with Barbies for all I care. But like as a man, when you go to a Barbie, how would a man get angry at a Barbie movie?
No, but I think it's more like in the past, the idea of Barbie would still be like promoting like a traditional relationship, right? Mm-hmm. And traditional values, whereas I think this newer take on it is promoting the opposite. So anyway, the point is I want to use that as a launch point to get your thoughts. Because traditional values are a bit like under fire. And obviously like a lot of people talk out against it, myself included.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on like maybe not what's right or what's wrong, but what do you want for yourself? Do you want like a more traditional marriage and family?
Yeah. I've had this conversation with my girlfriend Taylor. I think it's important to have these conversations, especially as I'm 33 years old, about to be 34. So it's not like I'm like 22 and 22. I could almost be like, oh, that's a conversation for like later down the road. You don't need to have that. But now I'm in a serious relationship. Getting close to the next steps, family, children, and I come from a tradition. I think people base what they want in the future a lot of times based on how they were raised or what they kind of were grown up seeing. And now I come from a family that, there was divorce, remarried and kind of a separated home and stuff like that. So I don't come from, my parents been together forever. But I'm definitely someone that I hold true to traditional values, and Taylor does as well. And You know, like I want to be the man that provides financially for the household, the woman. That's just how I feel.
I mean, I think it's a hot take. Also, loosen your mic cord a little bit.
Okay.
I've had the first episode I did with Jay Waller, man. We lost a bunch of audio. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
there you go.
But these are higher quality cables, though. Inspired by the Maxx Chewning.
That's right. Good
Don't
cables,
Be
dude.
Sour podcast, of course. People give me shit because I do like the funny podcast intros, taking clips out of context. I don't. Were you the pioneer of that, or did you get inspiration from someone else? Because I feel like I've seen other podcasts also do that.
I run a podcast called Don't Be Sour. We're about like 57 episodes deep and doing it for like a year and a half. And from day one, I've done these like just out of context, just really funny intros, right? To hook people. My inspiration on that actually was from this YouTube channel called Much Dank. And it's this guy that takes like rap interviews and takes out of context things. And I think they're hilarious. So that's kind of where I got the inspiration from in my world to do the funny things. I think I've heard people say things like, "Oh, you stole Max's intro," whatever. No, I think it's a funny, hooky way to do it. I'm not the first person to do it. Not gonna be the last person to do it. I don't give a shit.
Well, I stole it from you. I can own that.
Well, you look at it, you're like, that's a good hooky way because it's like you either go with one topic that you talk about, but it's hard to mix in a lot of things. And the idea behind mine is also to be funny, but it's also to find out like, oh, I want to see where they said this comment. I want to see where that plays.
Yeah,
in
no,
the
it's like a
podcast.
movie trailer. You see a movie trailer, it builds hype for the movie. This builds hype for that.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's my hot take on traditional values.
Okay.
I think every man, if he was financially able to have a traditional relationship, he would.
1,000%.
Meaning that if you are able to make, or if a man is able to make enough money to support his wife and the kids, that he would want his wife to have the traditional feminine role. Of course, it's a reality of like, I mean, not everyone has that, I guess, that they're not blessed to make enough money or they haven't gotten to that point in their journey yet. And like, obviously, like when I first met Julia, like she was pursuing her career and I wasn't like, hey, don't be pursuing your career because I wasn't making any money.
Yeah.
So if I was going to marry someone to support kids, it was like, well, I would at that point have had needed like a second income. Do you agree with that take?
Yeah, I think the way I look at it is, you know, like right now, Taylor works, makes her own money, buys her own things. You know, she lives with me and, you know, I choose to, you know, not charge her rent or anything like that. That was not even a conversation we had. It was just whether it be Taylor or, you know, it wouldn't have been any other girl. But, you know, if that's just how I would have been. Like when I asked you to come live with me, I'm not gonna be like, all right, so you want to split utilities or something like that. Because I'm at a financially secure place. You know, if I was, you know, 19 and did that.
Well, it's different than if you guys were dating and you guys decided, hey, we're gonna move into this new place together, and then you guys weren't also as financially stable as you were.
Yeah, and I just think so. She makes all her own money now, but I look at the future, and it's not like right now it could be like, all right, Taylor, you don't need to work. Like stay at home and just chill, watch Netflix, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't want to do that. Yeah. I wouldn't feel kind of like that way about. Like, I wouldn't want her to do that either.
Well, there's not kids in the picture. And
exactly.
Things that like have the burden of responsibility.
So the way I look at it is when we have kids. I think that her role in our family is going to be to raise the kids because I'm going to be like, hey, I need to focus on, you know, I'm going to be so much in the kid's life, but I also want to, you know, make sure that we can have everything that we want, she wants, I want, the kids want, set ourselves up for, you know, financial freedom, you know, for the rest of our lives. And I think raising kids is a very large undertaking, and I'd rather her whole focus be on that. And again, this isn't like, Taylor, you're going to raise the kids, and that's going to be your only focus. Both of our visions align with that. It's not me putting this type of ideology on her, and it's not her being like, when we have kids, I want to stop working immediately, and you better support me. It was never like that. That's, I think, when you find a partner where both of your visions align, it's easier that way.
No, that's why it's important to have those conversations, like, not 1 week in the relationship, maybe like 6 months in, you start having those, is there like long-term compatibility?
You know, here's actually something that I thought about forever ago, and it seems ridiculous when you say it out loud, but it's almost, especially when you get older, it's like, don't waste people's time. What's your thought of like on the first date? Like, be like, hey, before we even waste any of our time, do you want kids? Do you agree with marriage? Do you, like, what's your views in the future? Because it's almost like, why even waste anyone's time? There's a difference of like, I'm hooking up with people, but
but I disagree. I disagree strongly.
No, I would never do it because that's kind of a ridiculous thing to do on a first date. But you would think it almost would make sense, because in best case scenario, if we go on a first date and we get along and we're both looking for, you know, monogamous relationships indefinitely, and you know we potentially might be the one for each other. Why not just get all that out of the way? Because 6 months in, you have emotions and relations tied in, and then you have these non-breakable things of, I don't want kids, they don't want kids, they don't agree with marriage or something, and then there's emotions, and then you're trying to be like, I'll change this thing I'm very set on.
Here's why I disagree. Because obviously those things have to align for something to get to like marriage and family. I mean, I guess in a lot of people they probably don't, and then at least like divorce, like a shitty family life, right? But those things should align. But what's even like more important than that is, first of all, like, is there a good vibe? Do you guys actually get along? You know, if you're just like, I feel like otherwise it turns into like we're putting a lot of pressure on this. This needs to be like we're showing up and almost like signing a contract already. Like, do you want kids? Traditional marriage?
Yeah.
How many people at the wedding? Ooh, 50 people. We're gonna need at least 200. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it starts to like the whole point at the beginning is just like, do we actually fucking like vibe? Is there good energy? Are we because there's chemistry and there's compatibility. And if the chemistry is not there, who cares if like the long-term compatibility is there?
Yeah, but how soon in? For example, I'm not gonna say who this person is, but someone very close to me got very heavily into a relationship, got married, and then it was at that point they learned that the partner absolutely, like, because early on the guy wanted kids, the girl did not, but she's like, I'll be fine with kids, she'll change. They got married, he's like, all right, let's have kids. She's like, actually I don't want kids. I had to get divorced.
So I talk about a rule of threes. All right. So, and it starts all the way from like 3 seconds. If you see a girl you want to approach, like, you should probably go talk to her in 3 seconds, because after that you're just gonna like you're gonna like talk yourself out of it, right?
I never did that.
I know. We're gonna get into that later. I know. Then I even say 3 minutes. That's probably the ideal time for like the first conversation. If you're approaching a girl in a random place like the gym, like 3 minutes, get the number, set up the date. Otherwise, you're like things tend to get stale and boring, and like the date itself isn't that exciting, right? Then 3 weeks you could even say is like, okay, after 3 weeks, maybe now it's okay to hang out more than once per week. Because at the beginning, there's too many examples from my own life and other people's life where you like meet a girl and like you guys hang out every day for 2 weeks, and then it's just like
that was me, dude.
I know. There can be exceptions, but there's probably a lot of girls that happened with you in the past too, and then it just like fizzled out because you're like, okay, I'm fucking sick of you already.
Yeah.
3 months is always what I say, like, to wait till you like exclusively commit to a girl. Let's say like boyfriend, girlfriend, whether you want to put the label on it or not. But like, so at least you're like exercising options. You're not doing it because you're just like lonely or she's pressuring you into doing it. And then it's the big jump. 3 months to 3 years is the statistically safer time to get married based on studies, right? That's when the divorce rate like goes down a lot. But the point I'm trying to get to is somewhere in between 3 months and 3 years. Like, before you propose to a girl, before you're thinking about proposing to a girl, I think you have to discuss for sure, like, children, marriage, prenup, logistically where you're going to live, you know, what roles each other's families are going to play in the lives. Things like, do your kids have to go to college? Things like, am I going to be the only working? Are you also going to be working? Like, those things I think you need to be on the same page. Like, before you get to the point where like, should I propose to her? Yeah. Because you shouldn't propose to her if there's no alignment there.
Yeah, I feel like those conversations absolutely need to happen. And I think everyone essentially has their non-negotiables in the future. And then I think there's things that you may be indifferent on, where you're saying, you know, if I have the option between A and B, I'm going to choose B, but A is fine for me as well.
Yeah, no, that's compromise, right? There's like things that's like, no, this is a non-negotiable.
Where some people, everything, like some men are like, you know, and I've seen a lot of this in like the red pill space, where they think
don't compromise on anything,
because that's the way, you know, don't let a woman tell you anything to do. You're the man of the household.
Well, no, because there's got to be some compromise. But obviously if it's like, no, like, I want you to be the one who raises the kids, and like, for me, that's very important. That's probably not what I'd compromise on. But if it's like, you want there to be 150 people at the wedding, and I would rather it be, if it was up to me, just like 25 close friends, I'm not going to not marry you because of that. It's like, whatever, we can have a bigger wedding. That's not like a deal breaker.
I think every guy should realize that when it comes time for the marriage, you give 90% of the leeway to the woman on what because this is like,
that's a lot more important. Yeah.
This is there, like, to the guy, at least for most men, at least for me, again, I use the word I'm indifferent on it, where like, you know, hey, whatever makes you happy, this is your big day. For whatever, like, I'm not a girl, so I can't like understand why it's such this monument, like, you know, where it's like, it's about me. So I'm like, whatever makes you happy for that day.
I do think you want to, and Julia cared a lot about the wedding, and I know Taylor will too, but more traditional girls also tend to care more about the wedding because it's a more traditional thing. But I do think it's important for guys to like check their girls sometimes throughout the process and be like, hey, like, marriage is about our life. A wedding is one day. Because sometimes girls, I can get too swept away by like, maybe because it's kind of like a dick measuring contest for girls. Like obviously the engagement ring, but maybe more than the engagement ring, the wedding day. And like sometimes I feel you got to bring your girl back to like reality. Like I just want to make sure we're doing this for the rest of our life. We're not doing this for like 28 hours, 24. I don't know, 28 hours, 24 hours. But look, you're a lot less red pill. You're a lot less in the manosphere than like most of the people I've had on the podcast.
Yes.
And you mentioned it's going to be, even though Taylor's the one who's going to have like the primary responsibility of raising the kids, you still want to be like very present in your kid's life. And that's something that I've kind of like verbally sparred a bit with some of the guys on the podcast with, because there's a belief a lot of these guys want to have children with multiple women.
Not about that life.
How come?
I think I can't even wrap my head around the concept. Not only the juggling the plates, as people say, of balancing all the difference, and then finding, girls that align with what you're looking for, and those girls also being fine with you having multiple women, I think is not the same. And you hear the Andrew Tates and whatnot, where they're saying like, if a girl respects a high value man, she's gonna understand that he can have multiple. I just don't agree with that. I think it's a ridiculous take, honestly. Like I'm like, hey, if that works for you, that's amazing. But that sounds like not only the most stressful headache of a life, but for me, when I'm with one girl, I'm with one girl.
Yeah,
period.
I think. I understand if you're a high value guy, you make a lot of money. You've also like developed yourself a lot. You have a lot of options.
Is that a flex, like to other guys, to be like, oh, you have 2 kids and 1 wife? I got 3 wives with 2 kids each. I'd be like, that sucks, man. Like,
well, no, I'm on your side with this. Yeah. That would just give me a lot of anxiety. I'd rather just have 2 kids that I can be like really much involved in their life and not be like stressed out about the other 6 kids I'm not hanging out with. But I understand guys before kids maybe wanting to be able to exercise options. It's not something. Here's the reason that I wouldn't do it.
Wait, wouldn't guys want to? All the people in the red space are like, they talk about the traditional men, traditional women, whatever. But having multiple wives is not a traditional man, I think.
I mean, it depends how far back you go.
I guess, yeah. In our generation, and I think that's going to start making the future go against the traditional way, because then those kids are going to realize, like, oh, my dad has 4 wives, like all these different things. And, maybe for Mormons, right? Mormons that's in their religion, in their life.
Yeah, I think in the Islamic religion, it can't, like, the women have to also agree to it, but there can be maybe multiple wives. Yeah. But I agree that I think a lot of the power of traditional values is like the fact that like the family unit is kind of like the priority rather than like the woman's career or like the man sleeping with a bunch of women, right? Like the family unit's prioritized. And for me, like that's the most important thing for me. Like I want to have healthy kids. I want to have me and Julia actually be happy. And even like even if I could get Julia to agree, yeah, you're able to kind of sleep around, do your thing. Like even if she agreed because like the power I can command as a high value man, I know that would just introduce like insecurity and jealousy into the relationship. How's that can impact the kids' development, even if they all like on the surface level agree to it. I don't think that, and all these guys I've talked to, I'm not gonna mention any names, but a lot of men I've talked to who do exercise the multiple options, all of them are like, yeah, but the girls are like low key all pissed about it. I'm like, well, like
1,000%,
yeah.
1,000%, man. And I think it's weird, and maybe the guys are saying like, oh, I only want to surround myself with other guys like me, but if you had like 3 wives and were sleeping all around, all this stuff, I almost would want to distance myself from you, because I'd be like, bro, that's not like the life I want to live, and that's kind of strange, and I don't even want my kids to be like, seeing this as that's the norm, because I don't agree with it, right? And I'm not saying it's, like you do you, like, your life doesn't affect mine, but I think you would then have to have like a circle of people, circle of girls and guys that also are in that kind of world where, I mean, it's like if you're a swinger, like you would need to be couples with swingers, because like, I would feel uncomfortable being alone with other couples who are swingers because I don't want them trying to push that on me. I'm like, I don't want, you ain't touching none of this, okay?
So kids, because Max, I think I talked to you a few years ago, and at that point you were kind of like, I don't really care if I have kids.
Correct.
Like maybe even it seemed like you were slightly not against it, but like maybe you're like 60%. I don't really want kids. 40%. Maybe if it's the right girl, it could happen. What mentally changed? Because now you're not just saying like, I'm just going to do it because Taylor wants it. And I know that probably plays a part in it. And that's not, again, it's one of those boundaries that like you weren't like, I'm 100% against kids. But it also seems like you're saying things like, no, I like want to be involved in their lives. Like what mentally changed for you to get there?
I can go a little deeper on this than I normally would. There's been a lot of different mindset changes that have gone on in my view on having kids. For early on, it was because, I never could really find a girl that I liked. So I just was like, I'm going to be the fun uncle, right? But there's this kind of like, and this is going to be kind of weird to say, But it is kind of a deep thought that's in my head that doesn't make sense, doesn't illogical. It's a weird thing to say, but my dad passed away when I was 15, and this is 2005. Okay, and I know that impact that it had on me. And as weird as it is like I almost didn't want to have kids in case I ever got sick and had to like leave and put that sadness on everything else. I felt like the less people I had to make sad, and it's a weird thing to say. It's. I think no one can relate to it maybe unless they kind of have gone through like a loss like that, and just I'm like I don't want my kid to like cry about his dad dying or like see me weak and dying, and like it's a weird thing to kind of go on. But I was like, if I don't have kids, I don't have to deal with that. Not that I think I'm ever gonna get sick with some terminal illness. I hope not. But I almost didn't want to like put that sadness on the people around me that I love. So I was like, if I'm just single and by myself, it's all right. My friends will be upset, but I don't have to worry about like, my wife being destroyed, my kids, being, emotionally destroyed. So that's just like a weird thing in the back of my head. And I've kind of, that's just some personal issues that I've dealt with my dad. But the biggest reason for me was.
Really quick, just to respond to that. No, I personally, I'm happy that I can't relate, right? Because that's like some serious pain. But I do think other people can relate, and I do think like poor family, and this isn't because like he was a bad father, it's because he died, right? But a lot of people also just had like poor family lives, and I think that's also one of the reasons for like the degradation of like traditional families. And I think there's a lot of girls out there who like, or guys too. It's like if I grew up and like all I saw was my parents being unhappy. In your case, it's not the same, but it's kind of parallel, right? It's like related.
Yeah.
Like all I saw was my parents being unhappy. Like, well, then why do I want to like embrace like a traditional relationship if I can just go like be a slut or sleep with a bunch of girls either way, and then not have to ever like confront like bringing that same type of pain to other people. So I do think it impact. Maybe not everyone's aware of it, but I think like people's own pain or trauma, I guess, like does impact their like motivations in life.
Yeah, and it's never been like I hate kids. When there's a crying baby next to me, I'm not super happy about it, right? But
it's the worst, bro.
I know
it's the worst.
But it's like
every time I'm playing with Julie, I'm like, fuck. I hope our kids aren't fucking like this.
I know, and when you say you hope your kids aren't like that, that's all one part of me. And again, these are weird takes where it's like, but it's such a small percentage of it, where you see a lot of guys, girls, whatever, that go down bad paths later in their life that come from great house. There's broken households that the kid turns out because they, hate their family, whatever. They didn't get the love that they needed, whatever. But then you see the people that come from a very supportive household but still rebel and go down and, legal troubles and like all these things.
It's like you could raise your kids perfectly in that. Cause I mean, it's like soldiers come back from war. They've seen people die. Some of them live a normal life, start a successful business. Others are just like turn into drug addicts because they can't like process.
Yeah, and I guess me is like, instead of having the stress of my kid turning into a fuck up, like I can just not have kids. And these are like weird takes.
No, or like a kid having like a serious like mental illness or like deformation. That would be so challenging as a parent.
Yeah, I can't even imagine like what that would go through for the parents and everything around them. And it's there's just a lot of different options. But all of these things changed when I met Taylor. And it's something that I can't really put into words, but I feel it's just like, I didn't meet anyone that I wanted to spend any more than a day with for 7-8 years until I did, until I met Taylor. Day one I met Taylor, it was just changed my whole view on everything. Changed my view on marriage, changed my view on, having children, raising a family, because I see something in her and I see the way she interacts, and I'm like, with her niece and nephew and babies and everything, and it's just like it brings me this happiness and this like enjoyment of watching her and like being like I want that, and it's I don't know, it's hard to explain. So I have weird takes on all this.
No, let's dig into that. Let me push back on you a little bit there, but first, these ice cubes are gonna melt if I don't pour us. And I really don't want to drink right now. Me and Julie were in Italy the last week. We drank every day. The last 2 days you've been here in Spain, we've drinking a lot more than I ever do. And I know.
And what is this, whiskey?
This right here is Gold Fittich Scotch whiskey.
Oh my God!
And the backstory behind this is the first episode was Jay Waller. He's like Louisiana guy. Yeah. I was like, Julie, you got to go get something like a Southern Louisiana guy would want to drink. And she brought back
alligator
this,
juice.
this Scotch whiskey. Yeah, the guest pours.
What's your reasoning behind the guest pour?
I suppose it's like if someone's trying to like not drink that much, they can like get off a little easier. If someone's trying to drink a little too much,
is that a lot?
They can pressure me. I mean, whatever. We got to have some time to sip on this.
Dude, this is like this is gonna taste like ass.
All right, do the Spanish cheers for us.
Okay. Arriba, abajo, el centro, el dentro.
Oh, that's close.
I like the what is it?
Well, arriba, up, abajo, down, al centro to the center, adentro.
Adentro. I'd say el
Inside.
drinko.
El drinko. It's the same. I mean, same idea. How's that,
David,
Max?
that is how do people drink this?
I actually kind of enjoy drinking whiskey.
I always thought when I was younger, when I first started getting into drinking alcohol, like in college and whatnot, I've always just never liked the taste of a lot of alcohols. Beer, never been a fan. That's why I drink like Bud Light Lime's my favorite. Basically, the furthest away I can get from beer, but still it'd be technically beer is what I drink.
Coffee,
Don't like coffee. But alcohol, I just assumed that the more I drank of it,
oysters.
no.
there
We're talking
any-
about alcohol, dude.
No, but are there any acquired tastes that you do
No,
like?
no, like my palate has not evolved.
Okay.
No amount of alcohol, no amount of things I've tried. I thought just the older I got, I would acquire a taste for it. Nope. I think this right here.
Yeah.
I'm not the world's manliest man. I got 3 chest hairs, but like I think this is terrible, terrible.
Are you gonna drink it though?
I'll drink it so slowly, but I'll hate every single sip.
Okay.
It's not even like ham, for example. I don't like ham at all. I can eat it.
What about jamon, the Spanish ham? But
That's decent. That's
Okay,
decent.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm saying like this is something that it's not like, oh, I'll tolerate it. It's like I despise this. This is so bad.
Well, I appreciate you complying for the podcast.
God.
Because I think it's gonna
Ugh.
stick. I think the Scotch whiskey is gonna be the drink.
When
of
I
the
would go to
podcast.
bars and stuff early on, people would get me like a shot of something like this or Scotch, and they're like, no, it's good. And I would always say to people like, no, you don't understand. Like if I take this, I will throw up. Not because I have a weak stomach. I was like, my body will reject this so bad, the taste of it, that it'll just make me vomit. When I first met Heidi, Christian Guzman's girlfriend, we went to some bar in San Antonio. She got us a bunch of shots of these whiskey. She just loves whiskey, which is crazy. I took it. You start getting that salivation in your mouth when you're like, I need to go to the bathroom. I dipped out, threw up in the bathroom. No one ever knew till right now.
Here's the thing. Even Julie, who's never drinking whiskey in her life, drank this on the podcast. So
I'm a bitch for sure.
Okay.
Like again, I drink Bud Light Lime.
All right.
Trust me.
All right, let's go back to Taylor because also when I met you, you were okay. So quick recap of our friendship, right?
Yep.
I moved from Boston to Austin. I'm working as an athlete for Alphalete. I'm working out at the Alphaland gym. I've actually watched your videos since my Boston days. I liked watching.
What year was that? When did you find my channel?
If I started uploading consistently 2017, I probably started watching you like
Around there?
beginning of 2016, maybe like a year
Okay.
earlier.
Okay. So
And
for Virginia days, but not OG days, but
Yeah,
early
these are
on.
like when vlogs were popular. Even though I remember like I had this one friend come over who didn't watch like vlogs. I was like, "Oh, watch these videos, are really cool." It was one of your videos.
Like,
And he was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "Turn this shit off, bro."
You're watching someone else eat Chipotle?
Yeah,
like,
no.
just go eat Chipotle.
No, it was basically that. It was a video where you and like I think you were visiting like New York with Christian and a couple other
Yeah.
guys or something. But I liked how you did use different camera angles. You had like the camera smack transition. I stole that. It's something else I stole from you for a while until I evolved past it. But it was a good one. For a
Camera
while.
smack, the intro is the podcast.
The door, mask in the door, walking
Classic.
through like the refrigerator into like the grocery store or
Yeah, that's
something.
classic, dude.
So when I saw you, I was gonna go talk to you, and I was shocked because you knew who I was.
I just recently found out who you were.
Yep. And then from there, I guess maybe we did like not a collab, I wouldn't call it, but we filmed like a workout together. Like
We deadlifted together, I think.
the next time I came, I think we stayed in like light contact, and then when we were thinking about moving to Houston, and we were looking at houses there, me and Julie were visiting a lot back and forth, and we started hanging out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if this is all men, but I've kind of gotten to the point where like I'm not opposed to meeting new people, but I'm very like, I got enough. I got my circle. Like I don't need to add. I don't need to be like I need a million close friends. I need like my core people.
Does that bother Taylor? Because with Julia, like every time we move, like we're in Spain right now, right? And she's like, oh, like I just want to have like a little bit more social life, meet a couple of girls, and then she obviously ends up meeting like these single girls who she can't relate to. She's like, I just want to meet like girls who just got married or like about to have kids, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really mind like when people visit or we visit somewhere, I can hang out with them, and then like we'll meet a few people like little by little at the gym.
You know, something that, and I'm trying to word this in a way that doesn't come off not the way I'm trying to say it. A lot of my reservations about finding a girlfriend very early on and stuff was actually, I was like, I don't want to get a girl and have to have like completely separate groups of friends where I, need to go hang out and have these separate groups of friends, and those friends don't really hang out with these friends. And Taylor was someone that overnight, every single person in my close group of friends that I brought her into, whether it be guys or girls, just now she's best friends with. And that was something that was, magical for me. And she has a lot of her friends that we'll go out and get dinner with on a pretty regular basis and whatnot. But as I was so worried that like I was gonna have this like a girlfriend, because I had in the past where like she'd come around, but it'd just be like Max's girlfriend that would just kind of be there sometimes, right? It wasn't like she's in our group. And Taylor, like faster than I could have imagined, immediately clicked with every person in my circle, and now we're all core friends. It's great.
Yeah, I remember you brought her to Austin after, I don't know, it was like maybe a month after you guys started hanging out or something.
A month after I asked her to go out with me. Or
No, I think was when you were on
wasn't it January?
I think when you were in Austin, you were like, I'm going to ask her to like be my girlfriend when we get back to Houston.
Oh.
I think this is like when it was like the first trip you guys had done together.
Oh, then yeah.
While you were casually hanging out. And I'm just gonna, I'll preface it by saying I love Taylor now.
Yeah.
And I look at her as a close friend. And me and you, and if I visit and I'm the third wheel, it's you and Taylor, all good. If Julie's there, even better, because they get along well too. But at first I was hesitant, and I give Taylor shit a lot. Say, at first I didn't really like you, but you grew on me. Maybe I was a little like protective because like you're my friend, and I was like, I know Maxx has his options.
You're doing the shit test on like guys do that.
I was gatekeeping for
you. I was gatekeeping. You want to make sure that like this is like the right girl for your boy.
She was a pageant girl, which like maybe I had like certain thoughts like
me too.
Is she gonna be kind of like annoying because of that, or like have like a certain personality? But she's no, she's a cool girl. I like her. But I preface that by saying, when I knew you before Taylor, you were sleeping with different women, and you had your options because you have clout. You're a good-looking guy. You build yourself up physically. It's only compliments I'll ever give you. You're already taking them to heart. But you were also like very against. I know the previous girl you dated, like it didn't end that well. I think you're kind of just distrusting of women, and also distrusting of like them maybe being interested in your clout or your money. So like, I know it was every time I asked you this in the past, you're like, no, it's just different with Taylor. I can't explain it. What was different? You need to explain it to me.
I definitely had my reservations about girls in general because when I was single Max and enjoying my life, and I would always, there would just be certain things that I would experience when talking to other girls that I was like, wow, like, is this what girls are like? I'd have girls that would DM me about wanting to hang out, and I'd like look at their page and scroll down. I'd be like, do you have a boyfriend? And they'd be like, well, like, why does it like what? I'm like, there's a guy on your page. And I was like, are you dating someone right now? They're like, why does that matter? Like, they would like ignore it. I'm like, is this what girls are like? Like, girls are flirting with me in their DMs while they're in a relationship that they kind of hide. And they're like saying, oh, we're gonna like break up soon and stuff. And,
the hypergamy.
Yeah. And it was just something that bothered me a lot because I just thought that every girl that I would talk to had these giant red flag things. And I just kind of categorized all women as, oh, this is how they all are. And it's just, I was talking to the wrong girls. And I, for the longest time, absolutely never believed in, soulmates, love at first sight type of thing. But I don't know what it was about Taylor. And it's actually interesting. Whenever I talk about Taylor, people always give me like, oh, this simp guy. He's being like, just overrun with emotions, and he's locked into one girl, and this is going to end so badly.
You got to explain it to us. I can help you out, because to me, it seems like you saw things in her that like, she had a healthy family life. She wants to actually like build a healthy family together. That you had no reservations. She was like sleeping around with other guys.
Yeah. It throughout my entire time, even when I was back in college, every time I would talk to a girl, I would in my head be like, I either think or know she's saying the same shit to other guys, right? Like saying, flirting with other guys, whatever. And so Taylor and I, our first date was on Halloween,
2020?
2020.
No, so right when
2021.
So a year after the pandemic. Yeah.
Like almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And we went to a Mexican restaurant, and we had our date was now. What do you say? A date should never last. First date should never last for how long?
Well, that's the next thing I was going to get into because your dating style I disapprove of.
Oh, I'm complete opposite.
Yeah.
I went on the first date with Taylor. We were at that restaurant for 4 hours.
But
4 hours.
But I would say this is also an example of like top 1% man, high value man. I still don't like using these terms, but like you can get away with some things because you're already like kind of like pre-approved. You have like the social proof and the status, so you can get away with doing things that aren't optimal. Like it's not optimal to go on a 4-hour, 5-hour first date. It's not optimal
Yeah, but for me,
to do a
I
dinner
don't-
date where you're sitting there the whole time. It's not optimal.
I don't think about that like that. I don't think about this like game plan or whatever. It's just like if
But it's about like the optimal structure though. But what's going to lead us to the highest chance of us having like a fun, casual time where we actually get to know each other on a good level?
I think it was like for me, if it's going well and we're conversing and it's like I can tell that she is reciprocating the enjoyment of the experience as much as I am. Let's just keep it going. Like, why cut it short and be like, oh, I'm gonna cut it off to make you want me more. I'm not like that.
Well, but dating is a game. Even when you look at like animals, dating is a little bit.
I
of a
get
game.
it, but I've never played by this game, and I can go deep into how I would like pick up girls back in the day because I didn't. I didn't. This is before clout, before money, before any of that, and it's hard to explain until you experience it. And it's like when you know, and after just the things Taylor said, the way she carried herself, the way she talked, her like vocabulary, the topics she was bringing up, the way she was, answering my questions and having discussions. I was like, this is unlike every girl. Like she's smart, educated, beautiful, logical, and I learned more about her family. And I was like, even before I met her family, I loved the idea. I was like, oh, your parents have been together for 37 years.
I think that's always the number one green flag you can find in a girl.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it's important for a guy too. And again, with your dad dying for you is like not the same. But like when you see a girl whose family is like at least the parents have stayed together, but like she's still in contact and close with the family, that's like now she wants to replicate that.
Yeah, and I think with Taylor, so we went on the first date. 2 days later, she came over. We watched a movie. Then on the third date, she's like, I'll choose it. And she goes, why don't you, me, and your dog, our dog, dude, like, let's go to Galveston, like an hour and a half away to the beach, and let's go, like, walk the dog on the beach and get, like, food. And I was like, I've never had a girl, like, be like, let's go on a little trip. Let's go do something together away. And, like, I was like, whoa. It just threw me off.
Well, no, but so she was also, so this is another, these are all green flags
that
you haven't communicated to me before. Like, she was also, like, where a lot of girls, like, play the really hard to get game, or even if they're doing it with a high value guy and they're like artificially trying to like make themselves seem really like scarce. She was like investing into the relationship up front and not trying to hide.
Yeah, I got the vibe from Taylor that she was not superficial, ditzy, dumb.
But she was investing her time in contributing to like,
yeah,
to like the initial
1,000%.
hangouts.
And I think it's something you can't explain until you experience it. Is she gave me this like pure vibe, like just the way she talked to me. I just got this like innocence and purity. And like there's a lot of guys be like, yeah, that's the trick they do to get you, like whatever, then they just want to get your money. But I'm telling you, and it's weird because I always hype Taylor up.
Yep.
In my videos, my last Cancun video, I'm putting videos of the songs saying like I'm so in love with you, and people be like, no. I was like, I think it's just
Simp.
yeah.
Beta.
I think in this world it's like a weird thing for a guy to be really in love with their girl and show that to the world. And they look at that as a sign of weakness, and you're just hyping this up and you're gonna be destroyed. I was like, no, I feel this way about this girl, and I don't give a fuck who knows it.
But here's the thing, and this is actually something Fresh and Fit said to me. Myron and Fresh Prince CEO.
God, that's fucking terrible.
Good sip. The difference is you chose this path. This path wasn't pressured on you. You didn't do it out of scarcity of not having options.
Yeah.
You didn't do it because Taylor was like, I'm going to leave your ass if you don't like commit to me.
Yeah.
Like you chose to be with her. You chose to invite her to move in with you. Most guys don't do things out of choice. And I think that is usually the deeper problem. You do it out of like loneliness or scarcity or the girl pressuring you.
Bro,
That's a huge difference though, bro. That's you making the decision on your own that you want this rather than it being like
Yeah, but people use these like analogies and use all these like logical. Like I don't think of the world like that. I don't think of like, okay, I'm deciding she's gonna move in with me. I just don't think like that.
It's not that it's like a power trip. It's
No,
it's that like you consciously made these decisions.
Yeah, but I think the damage that does in the world of men is it makes it feel like if you don't have the ability to do that, like then you're gonna go down the bad path. Like it's gonna be terrible for you. Like if you don't have this like money and status, then you are gonna get run over by girls. And I've been dealing with all this shit all the time. I get comments still to this day after a year and a half of her being in every video, like, talking to the camera, showing her personality, me like showing everything we do for a year and a half. I still to this day be like, she wouldn't be with you if we didn't have money. And I'm like, what?
Yes,
but here's the thing: if people are like, do you think she'd be with you if you weren't in status? I was like, well, probably not, because I wouldn't be in the position to have even met her. That'd be like saying, like, do you think David or Christian would be friends with you if you weren't successful on YouTube? Like, well, probably not, because my life would be different.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that.
I would have never crossed paths with these people.
Well, no, I agree with you on that. And your status and your money is attractive.
And
to Taylor.
well, no, 1,000%. It's does the fact
it's part of who you were when she met you, and it's not that doesn't. If she was only with you for that, that's the issue.
Yeah.
But if it's part of the whole Maxx
the
package,
roles would be reversed. It'd be like, do you think Maxx would be with you if you weren't like attractive, well spoken, and like a traditional girl? Be like, well, probably not. Like, no, like it's a bonus, right? Like,
but so that's just being real. Yeah, you're just being real.
Be like, if I was a girl, I would be like, oh, the guy's attractive, has social status, he's financially secure. I would be like, yeah, that is very attractive to me.
No, of course. It shows that you can provide. She's someone who wants a family. She knows you can provide for the family. Like,
here's the thing, though. Yeah. I think actually I'm certain if I lost everything today, Taylor would be with me for the long haul.
Okay, because I was gonna ask, how do you know that? Because people, and I get the same shit with Julia. They're like, nah, but she's a gold digger. If this guy lost his money, she'd be gone next week, bro.
So
how do you know that?
It's one of those things I can't explain. It's like if you were a fly on the wall and saw the way that Taylor talks to me, talks about me, shares experiences with me, the way she wants to be with me at all times, like she's in love with me. Like she is so in love with me.
You're blind, bro.
I know.
You're gonna get train wrecked.
Well,
Well, I'm gonna say one thing.
Yeah.
Not to pump your tires. I'm giving you too many compliments. But me and Julia often talk about people we know who are in healthy relationships. And outside of you and Taylor, there's no one I can say definitely. And that's partly because I lived with you guys for 3 months. We hang out all the time. So I have like insight. But no. Those are things that like Taylor has your back all the time. She contributes whenever she can to help you with content or business stuff.
She's 100% down all the time to do anything that I need to
help support you in the mission.
Anything.
Yeah, and it's the same with Julia.
With no kickback.
And it's hard to find that. And that's the answer, I think. That's how you know that she's not just with you for the
Taylor's
money.
never asked me to buy her shit. Taylor's never asked me to spend money on her. Taylor will actually give pushback if I spend
too much.
Yeah. We were at the Gucci store, and I bought these Gucci slides, and I was like, I think it'd be cool if we had like a matching pair. I was like, I want to get Taylor a pair, and she had like a lot of pushback. She's like, no, like I don't like, you don't need to do that. Like, absolutely not. It wasn't just like, baby, oh my god. I think a lot of guys, when they see a guy who's like in love and has a good, healthy relationship, they're so much like, they're like, no, you need to be on edge at all times. You need to always understand that that she could be secretly talking to other girl or guys and it's wild, man.
Well, you are successful, and that's why even if you lost the money, like you're still the same person. You built yourself into this person.
Mm-hmm.
That's attractive to women. That makes them feel secure. And if a girl feels secure with a guy, well, now she's going to be able to sacrifice everything else to help that guy because she believes in you, right? And that's the problem I think a lot of guys who haven't developed themselves yet have. When you're early on in your journey, and I know you dated other girls before, and I dated other girls before Julia, but when you're early on in your journey, girls aren't as like and I know you don't love like red pill things, but I think this is also a fact. Girls aren't like as bought in if you're not as high value of a guy. They're not as bought in because they don't feel as safe and secure for their long-term future with you, and that's where her hypergamy becomes a thing. And that doesn't mean girls are always going to want the next best thing, but I think the truth behind that is like if a girl doesn't feel like that secure with you or that safe for you to be able to provide for the future, and that's not only financially.
I've never actually been with any girl. I've dated a handful of girls throughout my since college or high school, and I've never been in a relationship with a girl who's I've ever been like, yeah, she always wanted me to like do expensive things, buyers. I've never been with a girl like that ever, not even remotely close. And
but I'm just saying there's less buy-in on the girl's part if you haven't developed yourself in these ways.
Correct, 1000%.
Yeah.
And I'll get the comment
because there are a lot of other options out there, right? And then if like Taylor finds you, like, yeah, she could, like, the same thing with Julia. Julia could find a taller guy than me. She could probably find a guy who makes more money than me, who's a little bit more attractive than me.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's not just these stats, like, right? There's obviously then there's that. Obviously, those things help the girl have the buy-in to a certain degree. But then beyond that, it's also like, okay, now you have a fucking connection with this person. You guys share the same vision. You guys are on the same journey
Something
together.
that I've talked about on some previous podcasts is when they bring up like my social status, financial success, and whatnot about me having a girl. It almost seems like unless you got a girl, let's say like Julia, that was with you before you had all this rise, then whenever a man becomes successful, no matter what girl you find, the only reason she's going to like you is because of your status. And if that's the mindset, then it's like, then who am I supposed to find?
I do think
who am I supposed to date?
I do think it's a catch-22.
Yeah.
That's
why you need multiple women, dude, because at any moment you need to be able to ditch one and go with the other.
All right, so someone asked me, he said, or stated this, I guess, like, and I agree with it to an extent. Like, a man, if he was able to sleep with other women and his woman was genuinely okay with it, he would always exercise that option. But we kind of already talked about this because the woman deep down is never going to be genuinely okay with it, and then it hurts the intimacy with your main partner. We kind of already talked about that.
I did a Q&A with Taylor that goes up very soon. In that, one of the questions was, who is your like celebrity hall pass? That's like a common kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And when that came up, the question is like, oh, like who is my celebrity hall pass? I'd be like, no one. Like, I wouldn't think it's right for her. I wouldn't think it's right for me. It's wild, these people. Like, I have, like, and this might be like, oh, Max just saying that because he wants to make sure she's happy. Like, I have zero interest in ever sleeping with another girl again. I've zero interest with seeing what else is, like, nothing.
I wouldn't say I have zero interest in it, but
I
would say I have the self-control to realize it would hurt the intimacy between me and Julia, which would then hurt the development of our kids. I see a really hot girl, it crosses my mind. It'd be fun to have sex with her. Like, that crosses my mind. But again, I have the discipline to be like, yeah, but then that would be like a momentary dopamine chase.
Correct.
That would then lead to a negative longer term.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
The way I look at it is like, look,
if there was a reality that like, oh yeah, I could just go over and sleep with that girl and Julia would literally nothing would change, I would do it. But that's a fucking fantasy world, bro. Like, that's not how the world works.
I think it's kind of like, when I was single for 10 years, I got everything out of my system. I lived my single world.
So do you think that that's important for guys to do?
Yes.
To sleep with.
It's not about sleeping with a certain amount of women. It's not about that. It's truly as lame as it sounds. It's about finding yourself. It's not
understanding
about
what type of girl you want and don't want. So I do think you do have to sleep with some number of women. I'm not going to put a number on it and say it's 37, but I do think you need to, let's say, at least 10 to 20 women you should have slept with just to have experienced different types of women.
I think after, I think everyone has potentially, or maybe there's not, had a one night stand, right? You meet someone attractive, you have your fun, and the next day after, you have the clarity, and you're like, okay, I'm moving on, and I realized that it's nothingness. Yes. It's nothingness, and I would never, and I'm not even talking about like the fantasy world, but like that's why about even about being monogamous.
It's a bust of a nut. It's a quick dopamine release that's like satisfying for a matter of seconds.
Yeah. Seconds, right? and for me, but like it's like I would never put what I have with Taylor or what I have with someone in jeopardy for that quick dopamine hit. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Period.
I think we agree on that.
Yeah.
And I think that's a little bit of the nuance. And that's why podcasts are great, right? You can get a little bit more of the nuance.
To be honest, I actually, this may be a hot take, is I don't want to say I look down on, or even, it's not the phrase, it's not like I like lose respect, but I look at a man different if I know they're not monogamous to the girl they're with.
Well, if the girl has agreed to it.
If they don't know, if they're just like, I
cheating on her.
Yeah, but like I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's like manly.
I would look down on people who cheat. If you're open with your girl about it and you say, hey, look, I'm still gonna from time to time sleep with other women. You're my main girl, and she says, okay, I don't love it, but I agree to it, I'm not going to lose respect for that guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to question the long-term viability of the
1000%.
relationship.
Yeah.
But if it's a guy who's saying, no, babe, don't worry, it's just you, and then he is sleeping with other girls, 100% I'm going to look at them differently.
Yeah.
Because you're now like, how can I trust you in other things?
I
Right?
would I separate. I kind of distance myself from those people. And it's more like, it's like, and I can be in the same situations as those guys, and I know I'm not doing shit. I know I'm good.
Yes.
So it's not like if
No, it's not, and it's not like you're evil, but it's like some party's a shitty person. Some party's a shitty person.
yes,
Because it's weak, and you're doing something that you know is going to hurt someone else, but you're like prioritizing this momentary
because
pleasure
in my
above
head,
the
I'm
other.
like, if you ever want to cheat, be single.
Be
Like,
single or set
why-
that boundary and
Yeah,
have the girl,
yeah.
like, which again,
Which was weird because that would never cross my mind. Like
Yeah.
in my mind, it's either just break up. That thought never comes to my mind. Be like, yeah, just have the conversation because I don't think that's normal at all.
it could work. I said before kids, maybe, but or if you're just trying to have
I
like
think if you want
consist-
to if you want to have sex with other people, break up. Be like, send it as shitty as this would be before you do it. Be like, we're breaking up, and then let her then
Well,
hate you. Or whatever.
I'd respect you a lot more for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd respect you a lot more for
Yeah,
that.
as even as shitty as that would be, I just think that
No, I think
yeah.
cheating is shitty, and I think it's
Yeah.
not just like the moment that this happens that it's cheating. I think the moment that there's like an intense, like you're not just like talking to some girl who you happen to talk to. You're like now logistically, because cheating doesn't just happen like, oh, I just like fell into it. It's like, no, at some point you had to make the conscious decision that like, I'm gonna ask this girl to come back to my hotel room, or if you're the girl, this guy asked me to come back to the hotel room, and I knew where that could lead, and I still like went along with it. Like, cheating doesn't just happen. That's the thing. Like multiple like
1000%.
steps happen to get.
No, I think even promiscuity is it. You don't have to physically sleep with someone
No,
for me to
DMing.
relieve a relationship.
No, if I knew that Julie was DMing some guy one on one, that's cheating. I'm done. No.
Yeah, and
I would hold myself to that same standard.
1000%.
Yes.
I at any moment, at any moment, Taylor could go through every single. You could try looking in through my phone for everything, and it's not because there's deleted. There's not because there's some secret folder, some secret app that's locking shit. From the day that I went on that date with Taylor,
Yes.
there is not a single flirty, promiscuous text, anything. Period.
I think
Period. And I
but I
know
think-
that Taylor's the same way.
But I think this is a black and white thing. I think some people are able to make that commitment and
Yeah.
not second guess it. I think other people, they think there's a gray area, and those are not people who are going to be in healthy relationships.
I just
Men and women
Yeah,
both.
I just.
No,
and
for me, as soon as I commit to someone, I've never cheated on anyone. I've never thought about cheating on anyone.
I feel that, yeah, it's like if you want to be single, be single. And it sucks that in this day and age,
Yeah.
that when men or even myself, because I get a lot of hit because again, I don't see a lot of guys like hyping, like glowing about their girl on a regular basis like me.
I'm the
And
only guy in the red pill manosphere space, and that's why I always get grilled on it every time I talk to anyone. Because I'm
It's
the only
weird
one
that
who like.
it's weird that like
I'm proud of it. I'm happy. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I don't care if what you call me a simp. I don't care if what you think. I'm like, I am so happy. I'm so content, and I'll tell you till I'm blue in the face.
And if you're
how
not,
happy I am.
if you're not going to be proud enough to like be with your girl, then you're not at the place. Either it's not the right girl, or you're not at the place mentally to like to commit to one person. That's fine.
Yeah.
But then don't do it and then cheat on them. All right. Speaking of weak ass people, I got some hate comments. And by the way,
Oh,
I could
shit.
not find any hate comments on Maxx.
That's because I hide them all on my channel.
Well, I do the same thing, and I get a lot of hate comments. I couldn't find any on YouTube, but there's a Gymshark Reddit, and I found
Bro,
this.
Reddit is not Reddit because I don't even understand how you read Reddit because the thread it's weird.
yeah.
I'm a big forum guy, but the way that Reddit's set up, but I think Reddit's like another world on these like drama forums that
Yeah.
it's a sad place, bro. Sad place.
Yeah. No, I think at one point, it's you never see the hater, right? The haters never have the profile picture. Mm-hmm. But the one time, it was actually me and the homie Dave, and there was one really aggressive hate comment. And this is when the homie Dave was visiting or something, and I showed it to him, and he said, "Yo, I know that guy. That guy went to high school or to college with me."
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is when I've got, I think, the first true glimpse of what like a hater was. So then Dave showed me his Instagram profile, and it just looked like the saddest person ever.
Yeah.
It's like photos of himself with like a cat or something, just like by all like weird, like dark selfies. And Dave told me he was just a really, really like odd.
Bro, I think
guy.
it goes true with the like you'll never meet a hater that's doing better than you.
No, he
Yeah.
comes from below. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like I want to see anyone that's Reddit's like, let's compare our lives. I'm not talking about like who has more money. I'm just like, let's compare our lives as a whole. Let's compare.
They're miserable people.
Yeah.
They're miserable people. and they're really the way I found this. I searched how to beast Reddit one day. I think I was just like, I don't know. I was like with Julia's like laying on the couch one night. And I was like, I wonder like what people have said about me on there.
Yeah,
don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Well, I'm gonna read you a few because I searched Maxx Chewning Reddit and it took me to the same Gym Shark. All right, give me just quick thoughts on some of these. Taylor wants that marriage done before any Sour Strips acquisition deal starts coming up.
Oh, so it's one of those things. People are viewing a relationship from an outside perspective and thinking that they know everything about it.
But they're also cheering for your demise.
I know. Yeah, and I'm saying like they're viewing it and going like, yeah, no, they may look happy as fuck. They're not.
I hope they get married and then he sells Sour Strips and then she divorces his ass. Like,
yeah, takes all of his fucking money.
But who's my like what?
It's sad individuals, dude.
Doesn't this guy talk about dumping stupid amounts of money into a Jeep and he bought a $15K bracelet for his girlfriend? This is exactly why I roll so many business owners complaining about money and taxes. I'm sure that 1K box strap is going to break the bank.
Box strap. I don't know what they're saying. First of all, that Cartier bracelet was $7,000, not $15,000. And if I want to get cocky and fucking snap back at some of these people, be like, do you understand that's fucking pennies to me? This bracelet. So it's like, first of all, don't worry about my finances and stuff like that. And it's like, and for me, it blows my mind that people think when like buying gifts or buying and celebrating love, celebrating whatever with something nice, that you wouldn't freak out if someone bought someone a nice dinner. People are at different points in their lives, bro. Like people at different points in their lives. We're like,
no, for someone to buy a $25 million yacht and they're worth $200 million. Well, guess what? That's the same as someone who has $20,000 in their bank account going and buying a plane ticket to go to Cancun.
Yeah, I had one of my friends who's real rich, like hundreds of millions of dollars, and he'd buy like these crazy expensive like penthouses and stuff, and I'd be like, damn, that's so much money. He's like, look, I'm explaining this to you in like kind of a way for you to understand. He's like,
you're broke.
He's essentially he's like, look. It's like when you go to the store and like, buy a bottle of water, right? You don't think twice about it, right? Like it's $2. I'm like, yeah. He's like, all right, when you go to the airport and buy the same bottle of water, it's like $9. You're still like, this is a little bit more money, but why is it more expensive? But like, you don't sweat about it. He's like, when I buy this like $10,000 a month like penthouse, he's like, that's like the $2 bottle of water for me. It's like it's relative to your income. Yep. But I think it's weird for anyone to judge how people spend their money.
Fucking piece of dried dog shit. I hope he loses everything. Scumbag Maxx dog shit tuning. That's made me laugh, actually.
Bro, I guess the thing that blows my mind the most is...
But imagine the guy typing that comment. It's some guy...
It's like, what adjectives do I want to fucking use?
You have to hate your life so much. You got to be such a loser.
And there's no... Like, look, I can get that, like, if you watch my videos, I hype up my personality. I kind of, like, am a little louder... And when I'm, people despise when I do the shot when I'm like, and they're like, why the fuck does he take these shots if he hates me? Such a fucking annoying. And it's just like how could you watch me? I feel like I'm the most positive, energetic, happy, smiling, goofy guy on the internet. And for someone to say that, I'm like, what? Me? It's wild. Like, what could you? I get. I'm not maybe not your cup of tea. I'm probably a little too energetic for most people, but like,
you.
I hate how he bought his sister a fucking car and like does all these nice things and drives a fucking Jeep instead of a Lambo. Like, fuck this guy, dude.
Well, I know a lot of influencers, and so do you. And I don't know if I know any that are just more open. Uh-huh. You're very this. Yeah, you have a weird personality. You exaggerate on camera, but like you're just very open. I mean, I would say maybe I'm the only other person that's like kind of just as open as everything that happens in my life.
Yeah.
And then we get shit on because like I tell people that whatever I take TRT or that I'm building a couple houses or whatever it is, and it's like, what? You're just gonna mad at us for like being honest with people?
Well, the thing is, when I do a lot of things, let's take buying Taylor that Cartier bracelet, okay? $15K. Like, first of all, that's the cuff. It's cheaper than the regular love bracelet, okay? When I do anything, I film it. I film my life. I vlog everything.
Yep.
So why wouldn't I just show everything? Why wouldn't I show the things, gifts that I buy for someone? It's not. I'm not out of nowhere showing shit that I buy. Guys, I show literally everything. I show me getting my ingrown toenail surgery.
Yeah. So, have you noticed? Because I've noticed I've gotten a lot more hate the more successful I've become, and people are like, he's just flexing now. He's just trying to show us his car, his houses he's building. It's like, bro, when I was living in a 400 square foot apartment in Boston, driving a bicycle around, I showed you guys that too. Mm-hmm. It's just that this is what my life is now.
People want you to. They're rooting.
Do you want me to go back to the 400 square foot apartment in Boston?
People are rooting for you to be successful until you get successful.
I think it's okay if you're like 1 or 2 steps above people because they're like, oh, that's motivating. I'm leveling up with Maxx. I'm leveling up with Maxx. And then it's like 3 years later and he's still at the same spot. And now Maxx has sour strips. He has this huge house. He's got this girl he loves. And he's like, you need to go back.
Bro, if you extrapolate my whole world on YouTube, I've uploaded, multiple times a week, shown everything in my life for the past 10 plus years, right? So if I showed, you saw me driving, fixing the radiator and the air conditioning in my Jeep myself in my old trap house days. You saw me literally buying protein 6 months at a time so I could afford it and put it behind my TV, driving my car with my sagging headliner. Then you saw me start these businesses, grow these businesses, stock the shelves at the stores, these businesses, show me installing the racks in myself in the warehouse. And then I buy something nice. Hell yeah, I'm able to buy nice things. Look at where I started. It's not like this, I'm just like this trust fund baby that came out of nowhere. You see me start from the bottom. You see me work my ass off. You see me be single for 8, 9, 10 years. And when I find a girl when I'm 30 years old.
She's cheating
and again, yeah. And it's like, yeah, guess what? I'm going to get married in the relative near future. I'm going to have kids in the relative near future. And they're rushing along and be like, guys, I'm fucking 33 years old. Yeah. It's time.
Yeah.
Like, it's time.
All right, this is the last one. The last one I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Because me and you are both getting worked up. I used to like Maxx.
I want to meet I want to know what these people look like, man.
Well, this guy's name is These Hips, They Don't Lie. I used to like Maxx, but he is getting worse and more annoying with each passing day. I don't know if it's just the company he keeps. I guess that reflects on me. Fuck. Or he just growing insecurities about his following that he's trying to be relatable, but just comes off as a dick most of the time. This is what kind we just.
I'd be like, give me prime examples. I want to be like, I need to know prime examples, man. I guess a lot of these, they don't get to me, but I guess they bother me more than they should because I'm like, if there's anyone out there that's like a man of the people, that's a regular dude that has shown you the growth over the years, not really hid anything, and has like shown you from not making shit to being successful and finding a girl that he likes. I'm one of you guys. Like I'm an underdog. I made it in the fitness industry with the way I look, bro. I'm serious, man. Like, look at all these people. You know how long I've been getting ragged on for how pathetic I look. I look the same. My strength progress hasn't, grown. I have these skinny ass legs. I became, now times have changed, but like, I'm one of the top people in the fitness industry. Me. And I try to show people, I'm like, if anyone can if I can make it, anyone can make it, man. I wasn't gifted with the genetics. I wasn't gifted with, the most motivational way that I do things. I'm goofy as fuck. I'm annoying. I built my life, and I've shown you every step of the way. And for people still to be like, hate on me, I'm like, me?
Yeah, no, it gets me mad. I feel like we have the right to be mad about these comments. Even there's another one. Ready? This one is on my channel, but I think it embodies this whole thing. It was when I don't know if I was talking about businesses or something, but the comment was, yeah, but it definitely helps to have a big audience before you even started a business, my man.
No shit.
Yeah, and my response was, honestly, that was the harder part. It's like, because you're trying to be like, yeah, you only made money with Edge or with the Beastly app because you had a following before. It's like, no, you're right. That was the X factor. But I spent 8 years building the fucking audience, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
That was, but that's they make these weird rationalizations in their head about why it worked for you and why it can't work for them. Because if it's just, no, this guy worked his ass off for 5, 10, 15 years, that means that they could also do it if they just fucking shut up and just worked hard for 5, 10, 15 years. But it's easier to be like, no, but he had that audience. That was why.
I get all the time about.
So where do you think the audience came from, bro?
I know. I get all the time of like sour strips would never be a success. It didn't have this big audience, and I'm like, I agree with you. But I started sour strips in 2019. That means I spent 7 years before that building my audience. So I was like,
that's like telling LeBron James, yeah, you made him a lot of money with that new like Nike deal, but it's only because you're the all-star, like the fucking best, greatest player of all time. It's like, yeah, but I've worked my ass off to become the greatest player of all time.
I tell anyone, I'm like, look, spend 7 years building an audience, and you too can have an easy launch of a business. Like you only had easy success with sour strips because you had this whole network of things. Be like, yeah, for 7 years I built that network. For 7 years I've put in the work. And again, I'm not one of these influencers that blew up overnight. I've been putting consistent content and elevating the quality of that content for a decade. A fucking decade.
Well, that's why when people ask me for business advice, and I'll give what I can, but I'm like, look, to be honest, I'm not some like, I mean, and both of us have a lot of business experience, and we know a lot about a lot of different things, but like, they're like, oh, it's like the easiest way for me to start a business in 2023. I'm like, look, bro, I started my business back in 2014, writing blog posts, and like it, over the years, it developed to have the audience to where now I have, yeah, like you're saying. Anyway, so I can never, whenever someone's like, but how do I quickly launch a business in 2023? I'm like, don't ask me, because I didn't quickly launch a business ever.
I really don't know the shortcut to like, crazy success. I know it worked for me. And again, no one would want to do what I did, because I'd be like, okay, at minimum, I need you to work for 2.5 years. Let's say even social media to build an audience. Like, all right, for 2.5 years, I need you to make 4 videos a week while working a full-time job. Okay?
And actually putting effort in.
Yeah,
your videos weren't just like, but some people, they're like, yeah, but man, I've been uploading for 2 years. And if I do click on their channel, it's like, yeah, but man, the video you uploaded yesterday, it's actually like objectively worse than the video you uploaded a year ago. Yeah. Like there needs to be a progression. You need to be getting better.
You can look at any one of my videos, especially, starting like 6 years ago and on, or 5 years ago going on, and you can, there's not a single person that can look at my content, your content, and understand that we're just like throwing clips together. Be like, there's thought with these. There's thought process, creative background to it.
If you guys could be a fly on the wall when me and Max are hanging out, it's obsessive compulsive YouTube talk.
It's a disorder, bro. I mean, we're like, we'll just be sitting at dinner and be like, dude, I know what I'm gonna say at the end of that. I know I'm gonna start the next video. I'm gonna start the video. Like we're thinking about it 24/7.
Yeah, Max got here. Our flight was delayed. So you actually got to our apartment before we did. We came back from Italy, and you're like, you're gonna film a video of us, and I was like, yeah, but it's really stressing me out, man. Like I don't know what it is. We went to bed. It was like 1 a.m. I sat in bed from like 1 a.m. to like 3 a.m. just like thinking of like the first few sequences of the video, and then discussed it with Julia, and then discussed it with you, and then.
Yeah. I think the difference is you can see in our videos that we care about the videos that we're putting out. I'm not putting it out to try to just sell shit. Yeah, I do promos, right? But like, I put effort in my videos. I feel good about the content that I put out. I know that it's elevating.
Nah, bro, you're just putting out 15-minute advertisements. I get that comment. I get those comments. Yeah, he's put a 15-minute video for that one advertisement. It's like, bro, if I just wanted the sponsorship money, I would have put a 6-minute video together of me sitting talking with no editing on it and just put a sponsorship clip.
If anything, where people like look at my vlogs,
and then I'd lose all my sponsors because the videos stop performing well.
Bro, so a lot of my, not that often, but I'll get comments that are like, bro, your videos provide no value. And in my mind, I'm like, they're entertainment. Like the value is entertainment, but
no, but your videos provide value over the long term of following your journey.
Correct. But one time, or not, every now and then, I would be like, okay, I'm gonna make a whole video dedicated to a topic that's gonna be informative. I made a whole video, and I thought it was excellent, about the benefits of credit cards. And it was a vlog, with a whole vlog is showing each process of why credit cards are beneficial. Me going to the store and showing where I'm going to benefit from that. The whole video is about how to maximize credit cards.
10 out of 10?
Not only a 10 out of 10, but everyone was like, they're like, this seemed like a whole advertisement for a credit card company. I was like, okay.
I give up.
I was like, this whole video was supposed to educate people on why credit cards are good.
Yeah, we're in different spaces because I give a lot of the male self-improvement advice. I'm like, I've always looked at my channel as a combo between like an Elliot Hulse, and these are old school, like an Elliot Hulse and a Casey Neistat, or an Elliot Hulse and a Maxx Chewning even. That's always how I looked at it.
YouTube's evolved a lot, man. And
what do you think? Well, okay, here. What advice would you give to someone who wanted to start YouTube in 2023?
For
me, it would be the same advice as always. Honestly, my advice wouldn't have changed much.
I say everything is do it because you want to do it, be consistent with it, and continue to try to improve your quality. And I think it's like finding your own voice. A lot of early on mistakes I made, and you can go back and watch where at the end of my videos I would do these like talks in the parking lot where I'd be like motivational and relate it to lifting and like inspire in life. And it's because I would watch like Christian and other things, and I would try to be like, oh, I need to do that. I need to do that. So I have to go this in my videos. And it wasn't me. I show my motivation in life by other ways, not by motivational talks. You know, every now and then they kind of aspire, but I think
at the beginning you have to copy other people because
Well, you need
otherwise,
to
like,
lean
how are
into
you
who you
gonna
are.
how are you gonna make a 12-minute video if you've never made videos before because you don't have your own style yet? So I think you need to like copy. You need to like copy. Like I like this guy's channel. I like how this guy does this. I like how this guy does intros. I like this guy how he edits the videos. I like how this guy talks. Mix them together,
Well,
and it's a copy at first. But then if you upload 2 videos a week for 6 years, 7 years, like I have, like you just start to find.
I
your
just think
own style.
in the initial, everyone needs to have something that is going to capture people because a lot of people just start off just vlogging their day, and I'm like, why would someone care about your day? People came to my channel because I was the deadlift guy. I provided deadlift value, and then I started introducing my personality.
I would say if you want to be a vlogger, and you have the advantage that you had an audience now and you can just keep vlogging. But I would say if you want to be a vlogger, you kind of probably would have to do what I'm doing now, where you have like 2 uploads a week, where one's gets people in the door.
Yeah.
It's like titles that you'd click on it even if you don't care.
Or even
what
your
day it
older
is.
strategy where you vlogged and gave tips throughout the
day.
thing.
Yeah. Well,
Whereas,
you know
like-
when I first started uploading those, it was all hate. It was like, just give me the fucking tips, bro.
I
I
remember you
don't want
saying
to
that.
see your tacos.
But see, I thought not only were you, I think, I don't know that whole space, but I think you actually were like, I never seen
I think
anyone
that was
do
the secret sauce that actually unlocked my audience.
Oh, 1000%, because it was like you were sprinkling in your day, but throughout it had relatable things to a specific topic throughout.
And I was a lot earlier on my grind then, so I think the people who were watching it were like, again, this guy's at the same level as me, or maybe he's one step ahead of me, and I can actually, it's not just another guy like,
Yeah.
yo, man, like we're gonna get jacked today.
Yeah, and I think the last thing I'll say on giving advice to someone is whatever you're going through with like being uncertain about like maybe the purpose of your videos, the vision, stressed about whatever, just know that any large creator you look at, they're dealing with the same thing on a different level. You know, you look at my videos and think that I'm just like, it's so easy for me. I'm filming kind of whatever, but I'm stressed all the time about what I'm shooting. Think a lot of times I doubt myself, and sometimes I'll film videos, and if there's not like a really important like business update or some sort of like overarching theme or something, and it's just a video about my day, I'm like, this video provided zero value. This is a pointless video. Congratulations. People are now dumber after listening to you. Award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
No, I think it's important to see, because I think people really, especially in today's day and age, they glorify influencers. They glorify riches and women and cars and houses. But like everything's scale. Like I have the same levels of anxiety more or less I have now than I had at the beginning. Yeah, I can afford to do more things, but like me and you also, and almost every successful person I've met on this journey, they like delay the gratification, right? Like you need to always like create the environment that you feel like a bit stressed to get to the next level.
Yes.
If not, by the same token, we also know people who have like had a little bit of success and then just like, I'm going to live the life now, and that's fine. They can choose to do that. But those people, they then plateau. The moment that you're like, oh, I can live the life now, I've made it, and that's the mindset, I feel like you immediately just plateau. Unless you have like we were talking about, unless you have 20 million in the bank and you're just earning interest on that.
Yeah, no, I think
Because we know a lot of people who have had massive momentum and then I think got comfortable and they're still good dudes.
I think you can
But that's
elevate
a trade-off.
I think you should elevate your lifestyle as you so desire, but I think if you one for one elevate your life, you're going to be in a bad spot. People look at me and maybe think that, you know, my life is elevated a lot, but my life right now is not where it could be one for one if I really wanted to spend some money and really wanted to show you how well I'm doing. But
if we wanted to ball out with
because I don't
Lambos,
but it's all, I don't
whatever,
care. I don't care.
It wouldn't bring
And I
me-
also don't feel like I am at the point where I should be doing that stuff.
No, we've rewarded ourselves more in recent years. We've bought nicer things, but again,
I feel guilty about buying some shit sometimes.
No, so do I. I bought these Louis Vuitton shoes.
I felt weird showing when I bought these designer shoes, and I'm not going to buy any more of those because I don't like them. But when I was showcasing, even in the video, like I'm actually anxious because I feel like it's showboaty. I feel like it's not authentic. I feel like people are going to perceive that I'm doing it just because I can go drop. I mean, it was like $1,500 in shoes, bro.
I felt like it sounds
more than that.
extreme.
Yeah.
I felt like guilty and ashamed when I bought the Louis Vuitton shoes, and I like them. I needed that type of shoes. I wore them last night, But when I was at the store with them, now I was filming it. But even if I wasn't filming it, I felt like a little like weird, like like $1,000 for some shoes, man. And then I filmed it, and I was like, I honestly cut out almost the whole segment. I still left it in there because it was towards the end of a video. The video was kind of about the journey of finances. But yeah, no, I agree with you.
It's been a wild ride, man. And I mean, I'm 10 and a half years in this thing. You're 7, 8?
Well, I started uploading in 2017, so that's 7. But I started like the blog that was really like the beginning of all of this. howtobeast.com was probably 2014, so still 9 years.
You're still one of the few people that I personally know that have the same level of like thought process into like their passion for it than anyone else I know.
Yeah,
you and me are a unique breed. Like a unique breed.
No, because we've both while diving into the business side of things, we've maintained the love for the content. And I think most people, when they dive into the business side, there's nothing wrong with that. But maybe the love of the content wasn't that deep in the first place.
I haven't let my content slip. The more stress and busy I've made my life, I haven't let my content slip.
No, me and you both say this, but I care more about YouTube. I think I'd rather my videos all get 100K plus views than make an extra $500,000 this year.
And I've said it, and it sounds so stupid. It sounds so stupid.
It is stupid, but it's also why we are who we are and how we got here. Because like if we didn't value the content that much, like I got into the content because I wanted to make dope videos, not because I wanted to be balling out.
Yeah, 1,000%. I like the dopamine of feedback. There's nothing. That's why I hate sitting on videos. Because we're like, I don't like being ahead that much.
Yeah, I've gotten kind of far ahead lately.
I know.
But now that I do the studio video, I can crank so many of those out. And it's great because I have not as much stress making the videos. But like the video we just filmed that's going to go up when this goes up is like a 8-day delay or something.
Well, for mine, it's more because I like put a lot of humor and dumb jokes and stuff. And when I put a video out, and because we both edit our vlogs. And like when I'm editing, I'm like laughing at my jokes, and I'm in my head. I'm like, dude, people are gonna fucking lose it when they see this. And I want to put that out in the world, not because I'm like, I want to be people who are like, Max, dude, you're so funny. But it's more of like I want the same happiness that I'm like laughing at these jokes. I'm like, that's gonna give that enjoyment and that laughter to other people.
Do you still enjoy editing?
Oh yeah,
I get lost in it.
Oh yeah,
I just want to I want to sit down at a time the dogs aren't like, or Julia's like not running around, which is another reason I'm ready for the house because I'm kind of editing in the dining room now. But I just want to edit for like, I want to have at least like a 3-hour space where it's just like me and Premiere Pro.
No, especially like I only make vlogs. We make the sit down ones, which I understand.
I don't edit those ones.
Yeah, but I understand that. Yeah. But even like my vlogs, I will never give that up. I will never give it up. And I have all the footage, and I do mine in kind of layers. Like example, I've put all my footage out. I kind of get a rough timeline. But when I sit down and in the lab, and go, I'm like, I'm gonna take all this footage and I'm gonna turn it into these are all clips. I'm about to make it into a video.
Yeah.
And I'm like doing all these things and I change it and I love it. Yes. There's not 1 ounce of me because again, it's like we film. We're editing in our head as we're filming these clips.
Yes.
Every clip, we know exactly where that's going to go. We kind of know these transitions. We know if I can use this clip later on or earlier on.
Yep.
And it's like, and that's why it's so easy for us.
It's like a puzzle in our head. I tried to outsource it when I had Kevin. When he was working for me as a full-time like videographer, it didn't work. It just didn't work. Or he'd edit and have to do 20 revisions because like he just didn't have the same image in his head. And it's not that his editing wasn't good. It was like I spent more time revising.
Yeah,
the
but
video.
you're a creative. You're not just a personality. That's the thing. It's like if someone else edits your videos, you're never gonna think it's good enough because you know how it could be.
I
if
wouldn't
you
have done
edit
that transition like that. I wouldn't have done that.
Yep.
We're gonna have to change that.
You're like, 1,000%, bro. Yeah. So I thoroughly. It's not just like. And again, I think I'm very fast at editing too. I think I'm very fast at editing. But I thoroughly enjoy the editing process. I'm never, especially for a vlog, I actually get kind of bummed when a vlog for me is like low effort, when there's not any transitions, B-roll, whatever, and it's just clip, because I'm like, I can edit in like 30 minutes, and I'm like, this is lame. But people love it. But for me, when the video has more of a depth to it and whatever.
Drone shots, some music.
Yep. Yeah, and just like transitions, like.
It's all about the flow.
1,000%. I love editing. Love it.
I think that's when my videos, like when you start to like understand pacing, I think that's when you get to like unlock the next level of like, not for like a sit down video, but for like cinematic like video making, when you can understand like pacing. And be like, oh, it gets a little boring here. We have to like shorten this up or something.
If someone has a really high edited video where they're a third person character in their own videos and it's like over the top editing because like, there's someone else filming it, I'm like, that is so much, not that it's not like cool cinematic, whatever.
Yeah.
But
it's less compelling for me to watch.
Right.
It.
For like you, me, people like, again, Jesse Wellens, Casey Neistat, those are so much more impressive to me than someone like that they had a videographer
Follow
to
them for the day.
following them, making them look like a movie. And again, it's sick.
Yep.
And it's stuff that you can't create while filming yourself.
Yes.
But I think the Jesse Wellens, you, me, Casey Neistat, I think those types of videos where I know that they thought the scenes up, they edited it.
There's something about knowing like, oh, he was driving that motorcycle, that boat, flying the drone of himself, like flying the drone, filming himself.
Because
like,
I know what goes into it.
Yeah,
I know what goes into. I know when I see a shot that's really clever, I'm like,
the one-man filmmaking crew. Yeah.
Yep. And it gets stressful at times. And there's times when you wish you had someone else to get a shot that you can't really get, or you wish the camera could move with it instead of being
Julia gets
stationary.
frustrated with me at times because we'll be on vacation and I'll be like, nah, but this, like, it needs the shot. She's like, it doesn't need the shot. I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit better now at like being like, okay, that's gonna like detract from our vacation. But sometimes like, ugh.
And sometimes
we need the drone to be right there.
Sometimes you film a scene and you're like, they're like, I can't like this. I have to film this next scene because then the whole other clip it doesn't work at all. So we love the creative process, dude.
All right, so I'm gonna give you 5 words.
Okay.
I want your word association. First word that comes to mind.
Wait. Do you want me to just give a word response? Like
Yeah, unless you were like, people always start giving me sentences.
No, I'll do
one word.
I'll do one word on your one word.
You get okay, 5 words. One of them you can give a long response to if you want.
Okay.
All right, ready? I haven't thought of these. I've been doing these off the dome lately.
Like pickles.
Marbella.
Beautiful.
Drone.
Necessary.
I like that one. Can't live without it.
Yeah.
Sour strips.
Domination.
Ooh. I mean, I think it already has dominated.
We got a long runway to go, my friend. The future's big.
I need to be seeing it all over Spain. Then I know it's true domination.
Soon.
You're already United States domination. We need worldwide domination. Money.
Freedom.
Yep. Freedom to make choices. Last
I
one.
should have said Lambos, yachts, jets.
Last one. Private jet.
Not from me.
Yeah, I was gonna say not necessary.
Yeah, not
Drone
necessary.
Private jet. No, I got my own aircraft already. It's called the Mavic Air 2S.
Yeah, that's it, dude. Nah, I don't know. You know, I think money is an interesting thing, man. And you see people when you get to like the private jet and all that. But I like to think I still live I live a great life. I'm able to buy whatever I want, whenever I want, anything that Taylor would want. If Taylor was like, I want a Birkin bag or something, I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, I can buy whatever I need.
I knew it. She's a gold digger.
I can buy whatever I want.
Yep.
But I still like to feel myself that from where I started to where I'm at now, I live a very humble life, I think. And again, I have a really nice house. I do whatever I want. But I still limit myself to buy shit because I feel like I don't deserve it. I feel like I shouldn't because I feel like it's not me to buy these flashy things. I feel, again, I said I don't have a Rolex. I don't think I'll ever buy a Rolex.
I might.
I know you're talking about it.
But every watch I own has been Sarah watches that sponsored me. That's all I ever want.
I never want to feel like I'm buying something to prove that I can buy something to people.
Yeah.
I want what I buy is because I want for myself. And I'm not someone who wants to live this like super flashy life. And don't get me wrong, like the house, I keep talking about a house I build. When I build that house,
But that's for you also.
yeah, it's going to be a fucking extravagant house. It's going to be a over-the-top extravagant house, but that's what I want to spend my money on.
I'll be your house building consultant. I got some houses under the belt.
Yeah. You're like, you want a house in Austin, dude? You want a house in Austin?
Well, I do got one for you in Austin next month if you want that.
Yeah, but it's weird. I hate when I say the word humble. People are like, oh, fucking humble. Look at this fucking house and this shit. But like, nah.
Well, Max, it was good having you in Spain.
Thanks,
I'm
dude.
sad you're leaving tomorrow.
I know.
When you and Taylor are around, it's real genuine friendship that, I mean, obviously we share a lot of the same careers and passions, but I don't have too many friends that I connect with. Maybe none of that I connect with on the same number of levels as you.
Nobody on the YouTube game.
That's what I'm saying. That's a different level.
I think we keep ourselves in check because again,
if you got lazy, I'd let you know.
I know that David's putting out quality videos. I'm like when I watch his vlogs, I'm like all the shots. I'm like, I know he thought about this shot. Notice, like, y'all don't even think about this shit. When you watch like David's videos, for example, like look how quality the lighting is. Look how quality the exposures. You think that's by accident? That man has an ND filter setting the exact thing before he does it to make sure it's the perfect, well lit, perfect colored, perfect sound.
I mean, you get to optimize it. You can kind of systemize it as it goes on. But yeah, no, I remember I used to be so intimidated by the different settings on the camera, whereas now it's just like.
You know, that's what I would tell everyone is you know, if you're starting like a YouTube channel, is learn how to do everything.
Yeah, learn the camera settings because it's not that hard. It's intimidating at first, but also
it's going to give you so much value when you start your business. You know, yeah, we outsource product photos, but if push came to shove, we can shoot our own product photos.
Everything.
We can shoot our own ads.
Design the website.
Everything.
Yeah, I got Edgelot's going live today. I just designed.
But with money, it gives you the time to freedom if you choose not to do that anymore.
Yes, you can choose what you want to do and what you don't need to do.
Yeah. It's like, but I can do all these things.
And if you're doing YouTube and your shot is just like exposed well and colored well, immediately if I click on a video and I see that, I mean, for me, maybe it's not subconscious, but most people subconsciously are like, oh, wow, this can be like a high value video. Like it's versus if you click on one, like it's overexposed. There's no depth of field.
Bro, it triggers me when people don't use a fucking microphone and it's just like echo and it's like they're in a house. I'm like, no.
Yeah, you can't watch
People do like a Q&A with just the in-camera mic and I'm like, blows my mind. We would never.
No,
we would never.
No, I can't watch those. I die inside.
I told David I might post it, but I was like, I'm about to can a whole podcast because it didn't have the third camera angle.
Well, we had a third camera angle, I think, for the beginning of this one, but I'm a 2 camera angle guy. Even though once we're in the new house, we'll have the third camera angle unlocked.
Yeah.
All right. Anything you wanna? I'm gonna link your YouTube and your Instagram below. Anything else?
Honestly, like whenever, like the only thing I try to plug is like, come over. Check out my YouTube channel. Hopefully fall in love with me, see what I'm doing, and, you know, get involved with the things that I'm passionate about. I think you'll like it. It's essentially the same as David's, but with no actual tips or advice throughout life and significantly more immature jokes.
You're a real one.
I try, bro.
Oh, that
was good.
And done.
Done.